Strategy Battle gamers around the world, welcome to another episode, long overdue, of Adventures in Arda. Here with your Hotcakes Gaming host James, and welcome back. It's been a little while. You all know all the trials and tribulations I've had with getting content for this channel, but my good pal here, Pete, decided to come and meet up with me, and we're going to be filming a reasonably competitive, from my point of view anyway, battle report here. Not the usual fluffy stuff that we try and do, because we've got Preston coming up at the weekend. Preston is the season opener for the Great British Hobbit League. Are you going to make it, Pete?
Unfortunately, I can't this time. I'm looking for a house and doing this, that and the other. I've got some meetings, but I was going to, maybe the next one.
So hopefully going to try and get you down to a couple of tournaments. Now, if you've seen Pete in the video before, then you'll know that Pete taught me how to play strategy battle game, and that saves him having to drop it in every shot throughout the course of this video. So it's going to be my 700-point Rivendell Knight Force with the White Council of Saruman the White and Legolas versus your dwarves. Let's get down and show you the armies. And here we go, it's my 700-point Rivendell Knight Force that you've got in front of you. Now, we aren't doing this at home, we are in the Northwest Gaming Centre, Element Games, home of Element Games. So, of course, there will be some background noise, so I apologise in advance, but we will do our best. So in front of you, you've got two Rivendell Knight captains. Neither have got shields, I believe, at my 700-point list. Then we've got 12 Rivendell Knights in total. And we've got a White Council warband in the middle, which is going to be Legolas on a horse with armour, and also Saruman the White on a horse. Let's show you their opponents, the dwarves.
So we've got 700 points dwarves. That includes Balin with Durin's axe. He's got 3 Iron Guard and 5 dwarf warriors with shields behind him. We've got Dane Ironfoot, who also has 3 Iron Guard and 5 dwarf warriors with shields. And we've got a basic dwarf captain with a shield and 8 dwarf rangers with dwarf longbow. And lastly, we've got Gimli with 3 Khazad Guard, an Iron Guard, and 3 more dwarves with shields.
There we go, that is 700 points of dwarves. Let's roll for the scenario and get this game on the road. This is our board after deployment, so we have rolled to see which scenario. It is the high ground. You can see the objective there in the centre. Normally the high ground you deploy a hill or another terrain piece, which you can use that central objective marker and say anything within 6 inches of that for simplicity. I rolled to deploy first. As you can see, I've deployed my things about 10 inches back from that central marker, and the dwarves are directly opposite, saying let's have it. Let's roll to see turn 1. Priority. 6 goes to Hashut's Blessing. So it's going to be the dwarves' priority. So the dwarves got priority, and they are stoically standing still, awaiting the onslaught of the knights. So we are going to go into the knights movement, and we're going to start things off with Saruman, who's just going to move up with his horse 4 inches to there. He's going to target Sorcerer's Blast that dwarf ranger back from 12 inches in that direction, hopefully passing through 3 of them there. And he's going to use 2 dice to do this, 1 from his store and a free one, needing a 4+. And he gets a 6, so he's going to do that. How far back is the dwarf going to go? Dwarf goes back 3 inches, which will be enough, and it means he'll hit that barrier as well. So we'll roll for the wounds next up. So that dwarf there, first of all, is going to take that strength 5 hit, so needing 4, because he's defense 5. Oh, sorry, Gimli even. So he is going to die, and then we're going to do a strength 3 hit on each of these, so needing 5. So on this guy here, needing a 5, dies. That guy there, needing a 5, dies. That guy there, needing a 5. Doesn't die, and I can't use a point of might to affect that, so it's him there as well, he dies. So there we go, good Sorcerer's Blast from Saruman, who has moved back. I'm going to carry on with the rest of Rivendell Knight shooting. So the Rivendell Knights are staying still, and they might normally in this situation potentially call a heroic shoot just to try and really establish that kind of dominance, but they feel reasonably confident winning the shooting war anyway. I think I'm going to need that might later on. So the Rangers are going to get to shoot first, and we've got 3 Rangers over there who are first of all going to be shooting at the blonde captain over here. So they haven't moved, so they will need 3s to hit because they are dwarf rangers. Here we go. And all of them hit. So we need to roll to see, do they hit his horse or do they hit him? One hits his horse, 2 hit him. So let's start off with the one on his horse. One on his horse, strength 2 against defense 4, need a 5. Nope. And 2 on him. We do get a 6 there, and I'm actually just going to take that wound. I'm going to take that wound. So some decent shooting there on the captain. And finally, we've got this final Dwarf Ranger who's going to take a pot shot at Rivendell Knight here. So, needing 3s to hit. He hits. Does he hit the horse or the rider? Hits him. Needing a 6. So can his buddy get revenge? We've got the Rivendell Knight here who is going to take a shot. So he needs 3s to hit. He hits. Kills him on a 5+. Hey, and he kills him. So the Dwarf Ranger dies. Continuing Rivendell Knight shooting, we're now going to skip this guy here because he isn't base contact there, so he can't shoot the Rangers. We've got 1, the captain, and this one here. Captain's the red dice, and they're going to shoot, prioritising the 2 guys standing and then the guy on the floor. Finally, needing 3s to hit. We get 1 hit from the captain. Can he kill that guy there standing? Needing a 5+. Nope, he gets a 1. Let's move on. So jumping to the other end of the battle line, we've got the 2 Rivendell Knights here who are going to shoot again, prioritising those 2 dwarves there. So needing 3s to hit. 1 hits. Does it kill him on a 5+? Hey, it does. And that Dwarf Ranger bites the dust. Next up, along the line, this Rivendell Knight is going to shoot at the guy who is behind the dead dwarf. So needing a 3 to hit. He doesn't hit. So we're going to do the same now with the captain. He'll need a 3 to hit. He hits, and does he kill him on a 5+? It's the captain. Hey, he does. So that dwarf in the middle now bites the dust. Next up is some of the Rivendell Knights who are in the back line. We've got the 3 here who are shooting through at the Khazad. The red dice is the one that would if it was going for that guy needing in the way. So he's going to prioritise somebody down at that end. So needing 3s to hit. They all hit. So red dice is on that guy and the other 2 are on those, prioritising left to right. Needing 6s here. And we don't get anything, they survive. Here we go, so we've got these 2 here, they're going to do the same fire at those Khazad guard there, prioritising this time that guy and going this way, needing 3s to hit. We get 1 hit and needing another one of those 6s would be grand. Oh, we do! Khazad guard on the end goes down, wow. And finally, it's the turn of Legolas here, who is going to take 3 shots, prioritising the guy on the floor. So needing 3 pluses here, he'll then go on to the guy behind the barrier, needing 3s to hit. He gets 2 hits. So does he kill the guy on the floor, needing a 5+? He doesn't, and again, needing a 5+. He doesn't, and he's not going to use 3 points of might. So here endeth the shooting phase. There are no combats, a lot of dead dwarfs. I can see 7 dead dwarves, which is good, but 1 dead Rivendell Knight. I think that's definitely in the Rivendell Knight favour though. Let's roll for priority for turn 2. Will the dwarves continue to sit back? They get a 4. The Rivendell Knights get a 5. It's going to go to them. We're going to start things off with the leader, Saruman, who's going to move up 5 inches into that position there by the dice, and he's going to target that lone dwarf warrior back through, hopefully, the Iron Guard and the buddies there. So needing 4+ here, using 1 from the store and the free 1. And he gets it. So how far back does that dwarf go? 6 inches. He's going to go a long way back if he doesn't die. So he's defense 7 with the shield.
Defense 7, yeah.
Defense 7. So strength 5 and defense 7 is 5s. It's 5s, yeah. It's 5 because it's 2 away. So needing 5s here. It's a 1, so it doesn't matter anyway, but he's going to go flying 6 inches back. So we're going to start off on the dwarf next to him with the strength 3 hits. We'll need 6s. Nope. Strength 3 hit on the Iron Guard directly behind him, needing 6s. Nope. And the Iron Guard right at the back, needing 6s. It's cocked dice, I'm not going to count that. 6s. Oh, and it is a 6. So we have a dead Iron Guard, these 2 guys knocked down, and that dwarf warrior is about 6 inches back on his bum. Good work, Saruman. Who's going to move back? And that's it. 8 dwarves dead so far, and the Rivendell Knights. They're going to stay back for now because they've got the superiority. Will the dwarves come forward? We shall see. So here we go. Pete is moving his dwarves 5 inches up. The ones that are on their bum stand up and move 2.5 inches. Sorry, not 3, because they're half movement and they are dwarves. So the dwarves are marching forward, of course, solidifying their hold on that central objective, which I'll have to keep an eye out on. He's only 10 away from breaking, and we don't want him to break and win the game because he's on the objective. So something to think about. Now, do bear in mind that this, as we said at the start, is more of a competitive style back rep, and by that I mean I'm practicing for Preston, so I'm trying not to make stupid mistakes. So hopefully there'll be some more entertainment other than sitting back and shooting as the game goes on. But we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots here who are going to shoot, prioritising the Khazad, then the Iron Guard, and then that dwarf behind. So we'll see how we get on. So needing 3s to hit because I haven't moved. So we missed 2, and then on all of them it's 6s. Anyway, so let's see how many 6s we can get, and we get 1. So that'll be that Khazad there on the central objective. Next up, we got the 2 Rivendell Knights on the end here who are going to be shooting through at the 2 Iron Guard there. Knowing the way, so needing 3s to hit. That's a cocked dice and 1 misses. That's a cocked dice as well, that doesn't count. And both miss, so we'll go on to the rest. So next up, we've got the 3 guys behind who are all going to shoot, again prioritising Khazad Guard there and then moving to the Iron Guard behind, needing 3s to hit. And we get all hits and any 6s. And that's cocked by our rubber standard. And no, so they survive as well. So just a couple more shots from my captains, and I've got 1 more knight as well, and also legless. Next up, we got a Rivendell Knight captain. Will be the red dice here, and the Rivendell Knight next to him, who are going to be shooting through. And again, they're going to prioritise the Khazad Guard and then the Iron Guard behind. So let's see how we get on with this. Needing 3s to hit. And neither hit, and I won't be using a point of might. Next up, we've got this captain here who will just shoot through at the Dwarf Ranger, needing 3s. He hits and needs a 5 to kill him. It's cocked, and it kills him. So Dwarf Ranger there goes down, which leaves Legolas. Legolas will auto hit the Ranger behind. Oh, well, yeah, he'll auto hit the Ranger behind, needing a 5 to kill him, and does it. Wow. So decimated Dwarf Rangers, no combats. That is the end of the shooting phase. Let's roll for priority, turn 3. 5, 1, it goes to the dwarves. The dwarves are forming a ring here, and Pete's just finishing off his movement by moving Dane behind that hobbit hole there. So we're going to go to the Rivendell Knight movement. So we're going to come in straight away because Saruman here is going to Sorceress Blast this dwarf back through that line, catching those, and that hopefully, if he gets a good roll, he's going to use a 3-1-1 from his store, which means he's down to 3 will, needing a 4+. Good job. And he gets it. So how far back does that dwarf go? 6 inches. That is absolutely perfect. So we'll measure that now. He's going to go back that 6 inches, which takes him over there. If Pete wants to move him for me. And he'll go on his bum. It's a strength 5 hit against him, so 5s will kill him. Nope. And then we have these guys are going to be knocked down. Oh, sorry, him as well. So strength 3 hit on him. Needs 6s. Nope. On him needs 6s. Nope. On him needs 6s. Is that captain?
Defense 8.
Defense 8 captain, so that needs 6s by 4s. Nope. And on the guy behind needing 6s. Nope. But all of those are going to be knocked on their bums. And the Rivendell Knights have charged in, and that started off with the captain down who charged in, and subsequently a knight moved in on every single dwarf that was on the floor there, including that dwarf captain down on his bum. In the meantime as well, a Rivendell Knight captain and 2 Rivendell Knights have charged in on the dwarf over here, and these guys, including Legolas, have stayed back. They've actually stayed back to do a little bit of shooting, because we are going to go into that shooting phase now. So the 4 Rivendell Knights here who haven't moved, they're going to be shooting forward, prioritising that Iron Guard there, then that Khazad, then the Khazad behind, and then the Khazad over there through that gap. So they need 3s to hit. So can they hit? They haven't moved. We missed 3 of them and we hit with 1. So this is on the Iron Guard there, needing a 6. No, we don't do it. So next up, I'm going to do this Rivendell Knight here, who's going to fire at that Iron Guard there. Yeah, he'll fire at that Iron Guard there, needing 3s. He hits, and needing a 6 to kill him. and he doesn't. So finally, it's Legolas. Legolas hasn't moved. He's going to take his 3 shots, and he's going to prioritise the Iron Guard, then the Khazad, and then the Iron Guard behind. So does he hit? He needs 3s. Poor shooting so far, so Legolas has got to help out. Here we go, and Legolas gets 2. So on the Iron Guard needing a 6. Nope, on the Iron Guard needing a 6. A 4. He will not use 2 points of might to change that. So there we go. That is the end of shooting, and we're going into the combat phase. So at the start of the combat phase, the Dwarven captain down there has decided to try and save himself and call it a heroic strike. So of course he is equal fight value with the charging in Rivendell Knight there. In the meantime, calling a heroic combat with the blonde Rivendell Knight captain here, and also the brown-haired Rivendell Knight captain. So I'll choose which one of them will go first. So the first heroic combat that we're doing here is going to be the Rivendell Knight captain and 2 Rivendell Knights, both using their lances, against a shielding dwarf warrior. Okay, so the 2 Rivendell Knights will be the blue dice, and the Rivendell Knight captain will be the red dice. So do you want to roll first? Because I'm a high fight value. You get 5, which isn't bad. Here we go. And we get a 6 there. The rest of the roll wasn't particularly good, which does mean that he is going to be knocked down. Now he's defense 7, which means that the each one of the Rivendell Knights would normally need 6s, but they need 5s because of their lances. So just the Rivendell Knights first of all. And there's 1 there, which means that he's going to die and they're going to get to continue their heroic combat. So that means we're going to go on to the next heroic combat, but in case you didn't guess it, the Rivendell Knight captain and the Rivendell Knights jumped on Dane, the leader there. So blonde captain now versus shielding dwarf on the floor. You roll and you get 5, which is a bad. Red dice here is the captain, and he gets a 6 there, which is handy. So first of all, the Rivendell Knight needs 5s with his lance, and he gets it on his own. So they're going to get to continue their movement. So there we go, the captain has charged in on the Iron Guard down there, and the Rivendell Knight there, who's modelled with a banner but he doesn't have a banner, has charged in on the captain, even though he heroic struck, just in case my man Pete there fluffs his rolls, then we might be able to kill him with 2 guys. So we're actually going to start, it was Pete's priority, so we're going to start off with the guy over there, and you of course will be shielding. And I of course will be using my lance. You shield, and you can re-roll that one because it's cocked. You get a 3 highest, and the Rivendell Knight gets 4s. So you stay on the floor, and I will need 5s. Normally would need 6s, but 5s with a lance. Good against these dwarves. 3 6s. He's definitely dead. We're immediately going to move on to that next combat. You will shield, of course. You get a wonderful 6. Can I get a 6 in response? I cannot, which means the Rivendell Knights will back away 1 inch, and you will stand up. We're actually going to come to my captain here next against the Iron Guard on the floor. Iron Guard can't shield, but he's got 2 attacks anyway. So he rolls and he gets a 5. My Knight captain gets a 6. Cocked for a second there, but it fell off. He gets the 6, so he does win that. Now he's strength 4 against defense 6, would normally need 5s, because of his lance he needs 4s. So here we go, and he is very dead. And Pete isn't a million miles away from breaking. Remember, you break the following turn. So here we go. We are actually going to go for the captain on the floor now. So your heroic strike, what do you go up to? You go up by 1. Now you are fight 5 to start with, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, which is fine, because that means that you're still higher than me. But I'm going to roll first, and I'm going to use my lances, and I'm going to set the bar for you. I'm going to set the bar at a mighty cock dice there, but it's a poor roll so far. It's a 3 highest. So with your shielding, and you do it there. So you will stand back up with your captain, and my guys will back away that inch there. So the final combat is the epic one over here. It's going to be Dane. So here we go. So we've got the captain here. Now the captain is a higher fight value, so he'll use his lance, and the other 2 will also use their lances. What can Dane get? Dane sets the bar with his 3 attacks, yeah? And he gets a 5 highest. Now you do have might, of course, but let's see first of all what these guys get. And they also get a 5 highest. So currently they're winning the fight. You're going to use a point of might, which takes you down to
2 left.
So you've got 2 left. He's a 3 might hero. So the brown-haired captain will use his last one to win that fight, and you will be knocked to the floor. Now your defense 9, which is pretty unique, it has to be said. So against defense, this is something that you won't have seen before, but against defense 9, 3s would actually need 6s by 5s. And because of the lance, that means that I actually need 5s by 4s. 5s by 4s. So 5s by 4s on the normal guys first of all. Let's see how many we can get. It's obscene. It's obscene. So we get 4 of them, which is amazing. And then by 4s. And we get 3. So what is it? How much fate and wounds has it got?
2 fate and 3 wounds. So
2 fate.
Use both bits of fate.
You pass
both.
You pass them both, but you do go down 1 wound, so you're down to 2 wounds. So can the Knight Captain finish you off here before we need to recharge? Now strength 4 against defense 9 need 6s by 4s, but because of the lance, I need 5s by 3s. Here we go. That's a cocked dice there, but we've currently got 3 with obscene rolling again. Oh my goodness gracious me. That's obscene. Oh my days. Oh my days, he's dead. Oh, that is... So a devastating turn for the dwarves there, who are 2 away from breaking. Perhaps quite an important priority, or more importantly, a heroic move off. Let's see. So the dwarves get a 3. I get a 2. Priority goes to the dwarves, and my blonde captain here will call a heroic move. And you will counter with?
The dwarf captain.
You're going to counter with your dwarf captain there. So it was your priority, roll a dice. Dwarves are less good than elves, clearly.
Much better.
So on a 1 to 3 it goes to dwarves, but on a 4 to 6 it goes to the elves. His dice betray him. So far in the heroic, the captain who called the heroic has charged in on Gimmers there, and in the meantime we've got all of the knights across the board have charged in around those positions like so. It does get Saruman, Legolas and also this knight here, so we are going to do the following. Saruman himself is going to move 2 inches to that position where the Ardacon dice is, and he's going to roll 2 dice just into that position there to Sorcerer's Blast the Khazad back through the 2 Iron Guards, so needing 4 pluses. And he gets it. How far back does he go? Up, he goes 2 inches, which is enough. Taking just past them there, and he goes on his bum, and a strength 5 hit will need 5s against him. I will not use 2 points of might to do him. A strength 3 hit on these will need a 6, so 6 on the one on the left, nope, and I can't might that. 6 on the next one, nope, and I can't might that, but they are on their bums. And we're going to carry on with his movement now. So after that blast, Legolas has charged in on the 2 dwarves on the floor there, and we've also got this Rivendell Knight here who's charged in on the Dwarven Captain. So with that we're going to go over to Peace Heroic, which was cancelled because Rivendell Knights have charged him, but now it's your normal movement. Here we go, serious business now. So as you can see, the dwarves have formed a defensive outer ring to try and protect that centre. Not broken yet though, so even if they break here, it won't be a 1 or 2 at the end of this, it'll be at the end of the next turn, which is handy for me, which is why I've charged in just in case we get that. You can see that Balin has come in and countercharged Legolas, and in turn some of the dwarves here that were around the outside have been countercharged, which is good, we like that. So there we go, we are going to go into the shooting phase, in which there won't be any shooting because everything's in combat, so we're going to go to the combat phase, and I'm going to call a couple of heroics here. I'm going to call a heroic combat with this guy here, with the brown captain here. Are you going to call anything?
No.
So nothing there from and I will call a heroic
strike with Balin.
You're going to heroic strike with Balin there. Good call. And I am going to call a heroic strike with Legolas. So Legolas goes down to 2 might. My brown head captain will be out of might. Let's get down and do those heroics now. So of course we start off with the heroic combat. So that is the Iron Guard down there versus the Knight and the Knight Captain, who of course will both use their lances.
And I'm going to feint.
And you're going to feint. So you'll be feinting with all of your Iron Guard for the rest. You can't choose between the two. You get a 1, which means I win the fight. So you are defense 6. So my captain will be the red dice.
That was for my feint. Sorry, he's got 2 attacks.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. So that was your feint to see what you go down by, which is low anyway. So what do you get with your attacks?
3.
You get 3. So let's reduce the number of dice there by preemptive wounding. Okay, so needing 3s. And we get it. So the normal guy would need 6s, but he needs 5s, and he's the blue dice, and 4s on the red dice. And he's dead. So we're going to carry on with our heroic combat now. Here we go. So with that successful heroic combat, that Rivendell Knight has charged in on the Khazad Guard there, and the Rivendell Knight Captain has now charged in on 2 Iron Guard down here. But it was Pete's priority, so he's going to get to choose what goes next. So what are we looking at?
First we'll separate that fight off.
Yep.
Then I'm going to start us off with those guys there.
Ah, so a combat you think that you can win, huh?
I'm hoping.
So you've got 3 guys there. Are you going to do any special strikes at all, or?
That one's going to special strike.
He's going to piercing strike?
Yep.
Okie dokie. So what do you set the bar at? A nice high 3. You get the 6 there. But if I get the 6, it doesn't mean anything. Oh, darn, I get a 3 highest. So I'm going to go back there. I'm not trapped. Now, your piercing strike guy goes up to... He goes up by 1, so he's strength 4. So he will need 5s, and the others will need 6s. And you kill the knight, so the knight goes down. Next up, we've got a 2-on-1 here. Rivendell Knight with his lance against 2 dwarves. No piercing striking this time. What does the dwarf set the bar at?
3.
Mighty 3. It's wonderful news. Oh, 1 off the table there, but I get a 5. I'll just roll that just to make sure. Yep. So they're both knocked down. So first lot of double strikes on the one closest. We'll need 5s with the lance. Nope. And I'll do it again on him, needing 5s with the lance. Nope. So they both live, but they are on their bums. We're going to go across here to the Khazad Guard, who's not going to special strike against the charging Rivendell Knight. What do you get with the Khazad Guard? You managed to get 1, which means I'm going to win the fight on fight value. So you are going to be knocked down. I would need 6s here, but I need 5s because of my lance. And we get all the 5s, and the Khazad Guard bites the dust. Next up, we've got a fainting Iron Guard against the Rivendell Knight here. So, what do you get with your 2? Oh, it's awful, Pete. It's awful. You are now broken, of course, as well. Well, you'll break next turn, and I get a 4 and win that fight. So, you are knocked down. I would need 6s, but I need 5s. And we get 1 solitary one there, but that is enough. He is going to bite the dust. It's the turn of the shielding dwarves. We've got Rivendell Knight against a shielding dwarf here. What do you get? You roll and you get a 5. It's not bad. And I roll and get a 6, which means you are going to be knocked down. So, I would need 6s, but need 5s because of the lance. Here we go. And that's enough. So another dwarf is pierced. And we're going to go to a shielding dwarf here. Of course, both here using their lance as well. You roll and you get a 5 highest. Can we match or beat that? We can. We get a 6 there. So rolling that twice. Again, needing 5s. Can the Rivendell Knights do it? And they do. So another dwarf goes down. Wow. And then next up, we have got this shielding dwarf.
Yep.
So that's separated out. Shielding dwarf against the charging knight. What do you get? You get 5s. Pretty strong. Is it as strong as this? No. Needing 5s. Needing 5s. And he goes down. So they are falling to pieces now, the dwarves. Now, once broken, they all seem to be giving up a little bit. So next up, which one would you like to do?
Go for the Iron Guard next.
Iron Guard on the captain this time, so I've got 3 dice. You got 2, and you roll a 4, and I roll a 5 there, so we take that. So I would need 5s normally with my captain, but it's 4s with a lance, and that's going to be enough to take him out. 2 wounds.
And we'll go for Gimli using 3 axes. Well,
So-
3 attacks, 2 axes.
Gimli using 3 attacks versus my Knight Captain, who is going to use his Elven Blade, and then this guy here who's going to use his normal. So what do you get? You set the bar at a mighty 6, so can I match that? I need a 6. I do. Okay, so it's your priority. Because I've used an Elven Blade with a captain, that does mean that I will win this on a 3 to a 6 instead of a 1 or a 2. Hey, and you get it. You get the 1, so you do actually win. So the captain is going to back away there, and over to you. So who are you going to strike?
Going to do them one at a time, starting with the normal guy.
So needing 5s.
Yep.
So 5 to kill him. Nope.
No.
5 to kill him. Yep. So he's going to go down.
1 on your captain.
1 on the captain, needing a 5 because it doesn't have a shield, and you get a 1. So the captain there is going to survive. So we're going to do this fight with the Dwarven captain first of all. One of the Rivendell Knights is going to feint and use his Elven Blade, and the other one is going to use his lance. Okay, so here we go. You roll and you get a 2 highest. It's not great. And we get a 5, and you're not going to have the might to do that. Okay, so you are defense 8. So it will be as follows. This one here will need 6s by 4s, re-rolling 1s. So the red dice will need 6s by 4s, re-rolling 1s. Let's do that first. So we do get a 6 there. Can we get a 4? 4 plus, 50-50. We do. So that's 1 wound so far on him. And then on these ones here, we need 5s by 3. So 5s by 3s. And we get 2 so far. And needing 3s here. So 2. Now you haven't. You've got 1 point of fate. You need to make it. And you do. It's not cocked, so he does live. However, he is going to be on his bum. And these guys are going to back away like so. So it is the combat. We've got Balin and an Iron Guard on the floor just lending his dice against Legolas. Of course, there was a heroic strike off. Both fight 6, so what do you go up to? You go up to fight 8. Goes up to fight 10. Wonderful news. Okay, so I did charge in. What colour dice are the Iron Guard? Iron Guard is...
Iron Guards are red and Balin is orange.
So Balin is orange. What do you set the bar at? You do get a 6, okay? So need a 6 here. And I do get a 6, which is good, which means I'm going to win that fight. So Balin is going to be knocked down, which is great news.
No, it's not.
And your defense 8. So Legolas will need 6s on him regardless. And I am going to put all of my strikes on Balin needing 6s. Okay, so here we go. Who cares about the Iron Guard? And I get 2 so far, and I'm not going to use 2 might to make that one. So 2 so far.
Can you use my 1 point of fate?
You fail it
miserably.
So do you die?
How
many wounds has he got? 2 wounds. So you. Oh, he's got 2 wounds. So he's dead.
Yep, he's gone.
Oh, so Balin has been killed by Legolas. Good lucky.
Never trust an elf.
So wow, you are now broken. It's not looking great for the dwarves. Don't have a ton of might there in the middle, although Gimli did manage to break back. So let's go into priority for turn. I think 5 now. You get a 1, so priority is going to go to me. Wonderful news. So here we go. It's going to come down to the roll off here because Gimli has called that heroic move and it has been countered by Saruman. Of course, it was my priority. So my priority on a 1 to 3, this goes to you. On a 4 to 6, it goes to me. I've had all the luck in this game. Let's see what happens. And I continue to have all the luck. And it is going to go to me. So Saruman has to go first, and the first thing he is going to do is try and immobilise Gimli. Gimli does have 2 points of will, and I'm going to use my final 2 in the store and a free one to do this, because why not? Game might end at the end of this turn. So let's see how we get on. And we do immobilise him on a 5. So you've got 2 will points. I'm guessing you're going to chuck both at it.
Use them both, yeah.
And you get a 5 there, which means you do resist, and I would have had to use my might before that to bump that up to a 6. So he's not immobilised, but he's out of will, which is fine. So carry on my movement. So here we go. As you can see, everything has charged in the middle. So I did manage to charge Gimli, of course, because he called the heroic, which means I've been able to move normally. There's only a couple of courage tests here which needs to be taken. So we're going to start off with the Iron Hills there. 2 dice, courage 4. He loves it. He'll be able to move. We'll go to the dwarf next. He loves it. And this dwarf over here, he loves it as well. So they all love it, and they're going to be able to move in. So here's this combat phase. There's no shooting, and at the start of the combat phase, Gimli decided to use his second point of might to call a heroic strike, which has been countered by Legolas. It was my priority though, so I'm going to separate things out first of all, and I'm going to start with some of the easy ones. We're going to go for this Rivendell Knight against a obviously shielding dwarf on the floor down there. I will use my lance, but what do you get? So you roll and you get a 4 highest, not terrible. I get a 4 highest, which means that I'm going to take it on fight value. Would need 6s, need 5s because of the lance, which has been the undoing of the dwarves in this game, and that dwarf is going to die, is going to bite the dust. That was that one there.
Oh, sorry.
No, never mind. We'll do this one next to him next. So exactly the same scenario. You shield, and you get a cocked dice and a tree and a 3. And that is it's a 6. Is it cocked or is it not? I can't see.
Doesn't look cocked to me.
Doesn't look cocked? No, we'll let that one be. So here we go. Can I get the 6 that I need? No. So you are going to win that, and I'm going to back away an inch as you stand back up. So next up, I'm going to do some separating here. I'm going to separate that off with those two. So we've got a dwarf and we've got an Iron Guard versus a charging Rivendell Knight. I'm guessing Iron Guard will faint.
He's got a low fight value, I believe, isn't he?
You do have low fight value?
Yes, he's going to faint.
You're going to faint? I'll of course use my lance. You can piercing strike with the other dwarf, or you?
No, he's just going to fight as normal.
You fight as normal, going to try and stay alive. So what do you get? You set the bar at 3, which is a terrible roll. And I take it on the 6. Okay, so against I'm going to go for your Iron Guard first of all. Against the Iron Guard, I would need 6s, but I need 5s. And I get him. And against the normal dwarf, needing 5s, and I get him as well. So great work there from that Rivendell Knight. Pretty brutal. Let's go to almost a mirror match there, which is going to be these two dwarves versus my Rivendell Knight charging in. No piercing striking from you?
Piercing strike from both of them.
Why not, eh, if you win the fight? So let's see what you get here. Not amazing. You get a 3. And I get a 6, which is wonderful. What do you go down to? One of them goes down by 3, which means that he would be defense 4. So I would need... Goes down by 3.
7 with their shields. Sorry, yes,
Yep,
sorry,
yep.
I was looking at the 2.
Would go down to defense 4, which would mean I need 5s, but I need 4s on him. So 4s on him first of all. Yep. And then the other one went down by 2, so I need defense. He goes down to defense 5, so I would need 5s on that, but I need 4s because of the lance. And no, he's going to live. Let's kill the one closest, of course, and the other one is going to be on his bum, away like so. So we're going to come back after a little bit of battery charging. So, as not to trap some of my Rivendell Knights, we're actually going to go to the epic fight next, which is going to be Gimmers versus Legolas. Go and check out Get Buff Bat Rap over on the GBHL podcast. Not Get Buff Bat Rap, a Brawling at Barleyman's. Brawling at Barleyman's, where we did Legolas versus Gimli. Who won? You have to go and watch the video. Okay, so here we go. What do you go up to? Hopefully better this time, Pete.
Strike.
Hey, so you go up to 10. Do I go up to 10? No, I don't. I only go up by 1. So I'm going to roll first. I'm going to set the bar. So Legolas might as well faint. The Rivendell Knight captain will use his lance, of course. And then I'll roll for the other guy in a second. So let's see what they set the bar at. There's no 6 there. And the normal lance here. So at the moment I've only got a 5 highest. 5 highest. You're using your...
Both axes,
of course, yeah.
attacks.
You said that before. And you get the 6, so you do win it. So these guys are going to back away. And what are you going to do, Pete? Who are you going to go for?
I'm going to start off on your normal Rivendell guy.
Normal Rivendell guy, needing 5s. You kill him.
And then the last 2 are going on Legolas.
Last 2 on Legolas. You get 2 wounds on Legolas. So Legolas will have to use 2 fate points. He passes 1, and he's still got 1 point of might. God, it's not worth the risk. Yeah, I'm going to might that up to save it. So Legolas will be out of might, but he doesn't take any wounds. He's still got 1 fate point, 2 wounds. So there we go for that combat. Well done to Gimli. So next up, Rivendell Knight versus Iron Guard on the floor. What's the Iron Guard? Set the bar at... He gives a mighty 2. It's wonderful. Gimli clearly used up all of your good rolls. I get a 6, which is amazing. So would need 6s, but I need 5s against the Iron Guard. My 5 is cocked, so here we go. Badja. No! So the Iron Guard is going to survive, and I will back away, although you did lose the fight. So next up, I'm going to do the Rivendell Knight here against the two either side of him. Are you going to piercing strike?
Both of them are going to piercing strike.
Why not? It's towards the end of the game now. You roll and you get a 5 highest. Rivendell Knight, who charged in, gets a 5 and takes it on fight value. So you piercing struck. You would have to determine. So roll another dice and just see on a 1 to 3. The one that goes down by 3 is him. Yep. Okay. So what's so he's gone down by 3. So he's 4. So I would need 5s, but I need 4s on him. He's dead, and on the other one went down by 1, so I would need 6s, but it's 5s. Hey, and I kill them both. So great work there. Not many dwarves left on this table, it has to be said. Okay, so we've got the captain there, who's using his lance, and the 2 Rivendell Knights here. Let's finish off. What do you get with the captain?
Gonna shield.
You're gonna shield. Okay, so you've got double dice, you get a 6, which is great. The blonde captain hasn't got any might, so it doesn't really matter, but he is the red dice here. And we don't get a 6, so we actually lose and are going to have to back away. And there we go. That's how it's looking. There are currently 1, 2, 3 normal dwarves left, and the dwarf captain and Gimli in this battle. We need to roll to see if the game ends. On a 1 or 2, it will end. And the game ends. Thank you so much, Pete. Sorry about that, battery cut out. Welcome to the post-battle bat rep breakdown for the Rivendell Knights, competitive optimised Rivendell Knights before a tournament, trying to get tournament practice, versus Pete's hastily put together 700 points of what he's got dwarves, and I think the outcome probably is what you might expect.
Yeah, I'd say at least.
In that situation, although we know that this is strategy battle game and it can go any way. How did you find that battle?
It was like you were hearing when you first started out. You were learning and everything. You played them very much the same way. You had ceremony and it's more magic, which obviously we don't use. Well, you might have done, but I don't use much of it myself. And an all dwarf list just doesn't really have a counter to that maneuverability or that shooting. And you decimate my shooting first turn, and then I was on the back foot the rest of the time playing reactionary. Even if you're playing reactionary, you've got the maneuverability over me to be able to deal with that. And then, I'm not going to lie, there were some bad dice rolls. Not all of them. Some were great. Gimli really performed well when he was there. I just hadn't got him into an appropriate position. I tried to form a ring to stop you getting to the objective, and you'd got very much well, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose, and therefore win.
Yeah, if anybody remembers, did we film that one?
I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not sure whether we did, but in the first game, I'm not sure whether we did. You have to go and check out GBHL podcast for that. But the first game that you ever beat me was a situation where you had dwarves or Easterlings. We're not sure which one it was. I think it was dwarves, and you died on the objective. And the game ended before I managed to get in, so I killed you too quick and lost. And it was a big lesson, and a lesson which I learned from. Well, I didn't actually learn from it that time. As any fool, I made that mistake twice, and then I learned from it. But I have to say, my battle plan going into that was I knew that I would outshoot your rangers. They were always going to be target priority. I only needed 5s to wound them. And that being said, my army has got a lot of great counters against the Dwarven army, which is mostly defense 7 and even a lot of defense 6 there. Because my strength 3 bows still need 6s against the defense 7, so that's negated. And the fact that when it did come to the crunch with combats, my normal guys are needing 5s across the board because they're lances when they get in the charge. So my objective really was to sit back about that 10 inches and wait for you to have to come forward over the objective, which it makes sense for you to do, of course, as a response to what I'm doing, to try and either die quickly or to fight over the objective and stop you getting there. And then to do what you saw me do, which is to charge in, isolate 1 or 2 troops, do the heroic combat off, and slingshot and get myself into a nice position. But it has to be said, I had all the luck with the roll-offs, all of the luck with the roll-offs, which is always going to be key when you're taking any cavalry army. How about you in terms of your plan from the start? What were you thinking from the start?
My plan originally was to try and sit back a bit, hopefully do a bit more damage to you with the first round of shooting that I did, and basically try and bring you towards the objective a bit, for the very simple fact that by sitting back it would in theory force you to come to me. But like you say, you were going to dominate the shooting, you planned to that effect, and so then I just had to adapt and went with the tactic of either trying to stop you being able to get to the objective, or having to run through me and hopefully getting the game to finish prior to that point.
Absolutely, and yeah, it's a situation where I know that even though I've got the threat of the shooting, and I can now shoot, it's not a game you just sit back and you just keep on shooting. It's a game where you shoot just out of range to a point where they know that this can't carry on going. They make the decision to move forward and fight over the objective, and then you charge in and use your bonuses and your strengths when you get to that point. So in the end it was an 18-5 victory for the Rivendell Knights, because you were broken without breaking back, and also we had the leader kill on Dane, which was something you didn't spot early on. Knowing that he's only 5'5", the old Dane, of course, I knew that my knight captain would have the advantage with the very straight. So I think that you were trying to run him around there and try to keep him safe.
I was trying to sneak him a little bit.
Would you have done anything differently with him in retrospect?
Possibly not had him being my leader, but I was going with what the rule book says about take the most logical leader as your leader, and considering he's king under the mountain, you couldn't not, like, Gollum is definitely not higher ranking than king under the mountain, Gimli is one of his subjects, dwarf captain's definitely not so, but if I was playing in a tournament setting, then obviously that's kind of more of a fluffy rule rather than a hard and fast one, and so I probably would have taken Gimli as my overall leader, who actually did survive the game, because he just has that much threat, and he's also got the 2 fate and the high fight value and that kind of thing.
I actually think that Dane is a great leader for your army. I personally think you made the right choice with the defence 9. Although what I probably might have done in your shoes is keep him with that army.
Yeah, his stand fast of 12 inches would have been useful when the army broke. However, as it happens, by that point, and that's often the case with dwarves, is that by the point that they've broken, they're just going to be constantly in combat anyway, so it wasn't really that much consideration.
Saruman did a great job there in terms of, I mean, I wouldn't normally blast as much as that, but of course if you're blasting the dwarves, even against defence 7 you needed 5s. If you're getting them on their bum, especially those strength 4 hazards and iron guard, and then charging them on the floor, that means that you're not risking losing the fight and them only needing 5s to wound you back. Because of course with this Rivendell Knight army, it can't afford to lose too many, because once it starts losing sort of 6 or 7, it really starts to struggle quite a lot. So of course we've got lots of fluffy, themey fun in that sense. Battle reports here on Hot Gates Gaming. That was a little bit more of the kind of the competitive side of it, for myself at least, in terms of what we brought along in practice for Preston. So we've had a good game. Did you have a good game?
Yeah, always.
I had a good game. I had a good game. These guys down here had a good game. And I hope you guys out there are having a good game. Remember, if you like these reports, you want to support any of the content that I make here or over on the GBHL podcast, you can check out the Patreon, which has been now set to a paid video with a limit. If you want to put the limit on there, so you're just paying for any content that you can get. So thanks a bunch, guys. Happy strategy back.